Hello, welcome to episode 21 of Party Wipe. We're making a roguelike deck builder where you draft your own RPG party. It's Wednesday, my crew. This song is epic. It's very video games. How's everyone doing? Hey, Rhiannon. Hey, LSG. Whoop. Here we are. LSG, you slept way in. Now you're just having a satisfactory and chill day on your day off. Ooh, nice. That sounds good. All right, let's see. I didn't finish my schedule I was going to write yesterday, so we're going to continue just kind of doing whatever. I'm going to try to write it tonight, so we have some better idea of what we're doing over the next 11 odd weeks. I did get the arrows thing working, but I'm rethinking how I want the character sheet and the equipment pages to look. So like, I also I added a little bit more to the deployment zone guides. Make it a little more clear what you're doing here. We can drop them, and now we can move them with a little line. I got the arrow and the line to work. I like this one. I tried like 3 different versions yesterday. I tried solid line. I tried like small dots. This is nice because you can count. So you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can be like, oh no, I lost count. It's like, well, how many dashes are there? So I always like systems like that. They use one dash per tile. So it's all right. I think I need to rethink this idea of you automatically are moving them when you select them. I think I want to change something. I think I want to make move and act like buttons. In the same way that like a piece of equipment is a button. Oh, we need to reset. We need to reset those layers on drag. Do that. Yeah, I don't think you necessarily are in movement mode just because you've selected someone. So I kind of want to move these sections to the other side and make them like interactable buttons. I think that's what I want to do. This music is too epic. It's a problem. I'm gonna let it finish and then we'll switch it. So I think I want to do something like that, and then I want to totally redo the equipment page. I don't think I want to do this active versus passive thing. I think I want to have like an act button here. Kind of like your act thing here, but have a button here that you can select. Or you could like select it here and then click your act button here. I don't know. You have to think about that stuff. Yeah, I think being always in move mode is a mistake. I'll make a red version of those for the enemies. Pathfinding things blow your mind when they work. Yeah, they're really straightforward. They're surprisingly straightforward. I mean, Godot is doing most of the work. All right, I'm changing the radio. There we go. All right. Well, I spotted something, so we're going to deal with the thing I spotted immediately, which is drag, we need to reset the pathfinding thing. Clear all tile outlines. Yeah, okay, so we need to add... What was that one called, even? Path? Oh, well, yeah. Path line layer. Dot clear. There we go. That should work. No consequences, I'm sure. So now... I also think I want to reset it if we go off... if we go out of bounds. I also want to undo a selection if we click out of bounds. So today is a day of small things, of small changes. Oh, that didn't work. I see why, though. You need to know about your parent. I'm gonna say, if not, battle map layer dot card dragged. Or actually, we can just say if card dragged turn. If the card is dragged or dropped, we just won't do this. And then similarly, well, maybe we don't need to do it this way. I'd rather not. I'd rather not have this thing know about what its parent is doing. I'd rather just have its parent handle it. And the best way to do that then is to say what is it called? ID path. Making an empty array. Yeah, exactly. No, we're still in a rough shape and from an architectural standpoint, since that refactor kind of backfired. I kind of wish I'd gone through with my initial inclination, which was to do a top-down thing, where everything bubbles up to this parent, and then the parent calls back down what actually needs to happen. I tried to do it again as a bottom-up thing, and then I ran into those issues with the plugin, and so I just settled back on the original solution, which was a lot of peers that kind of handle their own thing and operate on the same signals and aren't really aware of each other. That's kind of nice, but it's also kind of rough. Because I'm thinking about what we're going to need to do for things like the undo, redo. Like, we're going to need to queue inputs and remember actions, and it's only going to get harder. But again, you wouldn't refactor during a game jam, so we're going to try. We're just going to do our best. What do I want to do here? So what I'm trying to do is... Okay, so else. If is in cursor bounds and not card dragged. Where's the else for this if? There isn't one. Well, let's make one. Else. Reset. And what we want to do is we want to say We want to potentially unselect if we've clicked out of the playable area. I hate this kind of code, but you know, it's quick to write. It's very spaghetti. Means there's a lot of edge cases that we might not be handling correctly, but you know. Okay, so when I do okay, this is fine. So the big atlas map is the 4i basically the direction from and the direction to, then it maps that to a cell in the text atlas. Exactly. That is exactly what it does. And the code that actually does it is super dumb and straightforward. We just iterate through the path. And we just calculate what the last direction was and what the next direction is. And then we just pick a cell based on that mapping. Super dumb, but it ends up being a dictionary of only 20 or so entries. Pretty easy. Pretty straightforward. We're going to need another one for the enemy, but it's going to be basically the same. Doing it after the playtest has started might be a good time if the architecture feels really limiting. Yeah, I'm not like in a rush to implement undo redo. It'd be good if it was implemented early. But I kind of want... What I want to do is I kind of want to finish this little test environment, which is just this open little spot, and we'll deploy some enemies and we'll deploy some friendlies and we'll just prove out how a turn. It's like a combat test. And once that's done, we're gonna... I say start over, and start over is the wrong way, but what we're going to do is we're going to develop it. We're going to look at this, and we're going to go from the top. And we're just going to work on it from, here's the first thing a player sees, right? Like, maybe the menu or whatever. And we'll just iterate from there, rather than, like, work on things independently. We're going to follow the golden path, and we are going to go from, here's you picking your characters, here's you drafting your initial gear. Here's you starting the adventure, etc., etc. We're going to go really linearly. We're just doing this now because it's like I just want to show that the different systems work. But I think it'll be more clear what we want to do when we're in that space. So yeah, I want some kind of movement button. Okay, so this resets when we're off screen. If I click off screen, we unselect. Great. Yeah, I did the things I wanted to do. If we start a card drag, we also unselect. Oh, that was weird. We unselected when we clicked out. Ah, I need an exception. I don't know. Something happens when I open the main scene, and it's like automatically running this load card res files function. Very strange. I don't mind. It takes all of like half a second to reload all the resources. I just don't know why it happens every time. Just from switching over to this scene. Kind of weird. Probably should be concerned by that, but I'm not. Hey, Arneo. Cool, you're trying to wrap your head around a conveyor belt system like Factorio. Feels like you could use a similar approach, but map to individual 3D scenes instead of a texture atlas. Yeah, you can do that with a grid map. I mean, that's like the auto tiling that we did for my FTL. Like, the auto tiling for that system is really smart. And it's very straightforward. It also has a mapping, but it has two different systems. I'll show it to you a little bit. remember which of these is like the right one. Why are these called? What are these corners? We're gonna see. Default. Default should be good. Or block template. Block template's good. So like this is how we do the auto tiling for just a block in my FTL. Like this is just the default, and it's like there's the X face and the Y face and the Z face, and these are all mapped in a way that's easy for this, but this isn't how the auto tiler thinks of it. This is the texture map. Like this is how the textures are packed, right? And there's one model for the texture pack, and then the auto tiler thinks of it differently. The auto tiler has a very good way of thinking about it, but it's different. The way the auto tiler thinks about it is like this. Assuming I can find anything in my folders. Auto tile mapping. This is how the auto tiler thinks about things. So the auto tiler, this is how I like to do it. So like, here's the mapping for the X face. So the negative X, if there's a negative X border, that's 1. If there's a positive X border, that's 2. And if there's a positive and a negative X border, that's 3. So they're like bit flags. So you just check all of your neighbors, and then the final coordinate that you get just is what it should be for that tile based on like the neighbor stuff. And then you just write that one dictionary that maps from this to this, because there's actually corners. So this actually has a Z indexing part too. Let me see how if I can show that to you. So yeah, so you can see here there's a vector 4 here. And this is how you handle corners, is you treat them as the Z and the W components. But otherwise you do the same thing. You do it the same way. You're like, here's the negative corner, here's the positive corner. If you need both corners, you just add those two together and you get both corners. So we use a 4-dimensional mapping, and then we check that 4-dimensional mapping against how we actually pack the texture atlases, and then we just get a simple auto tiling. In a way where you don't have to have everything be the same. You can like pick a mapping, you can pick a packing plan for the texture atlases, and then pick a representation for the auto tiler, and then you just need to relate the two. And that's what this is in a nutshell, in like a much simpler configuration. But it's cool. It's fun. I like auto tiling. Auto tiling is fun. Yeah. The bitwise thing is neat because each check doesn't care about the other checks. It just has its response. And then you just combine all of the checks. The result of all of the checks is the answer. There's no like, oh, this one responded this way, but this one responded this way, so I need to alter my... No. Each neighbor is checked independently. And yeah, you use like bitwise combination to like give yourself a final answer that makes sense, but doesn't require everything to know about everything else. I like that approach. Yeah, I spent a long time on that. And all I got out of it was, you know, I now have an opinion about how auto tiling should work. But yeah, we were able to implement our version stupidly simply for this game, because this game has a very limited need. What are we doing? Oh yeah, so still thinking about the select and move model of this game. It's one button. This is a one button game. That's the idea. I want it to remain a one-button game, because then, you know, the iPad version is easy to make. No, I want it to be a one-button game for a number of reasons. Maybe we add a second button just as a shortcut or something. I don't know. But I like the one button, so I want it to be easy. And I want it to be straightforward. I don't necessarily like, I think this is a little too streamlined where I click the guy and I select the guy and now I'm like in movement mode. But it's like you might not want to move. What you might want to do, like if this was a ranger, like if this is a knight, yeah, you want to move then attack. So it makes sense to go into move mode immediately. But if you're a knight, but if you're a ranger, you might still need to move, but you might just click your ranger and then hover over an enemy and then click again to attack. And if you're in this mode, they'll move then attack. But that's not what you want your ranger to do. You don't want your ranger to run up and stab somebody in the face with an arrow, you know, unless they have to. So I think it would be better if we click this and then we can specify whether we want to move or act. I think that's better. I think I want to flip these two labels and then I want to put some buttons here. So I want the move and the act to be like selectable, I think. I think that's what I want. That's not that hard to do. So we can just move these. Over here. This should be all we need to do for that part, for just moving them. But then what we need to do is this needs to be a button. There needs to be a button here. Hey, David. If they're Legolas, it's allowed. Yeah, I watched the Battle of Five Armies last night as like a treat. Part of the reason I didn't finish my schedule. It's fun watching old Orlando Bloom. I don't know why his like fake contact lenses look way more obvious in The Hobbit than they do in The Lord of the Rings. But man, I can't imagine how everyone's gonna look in The Hunt for Gollum or whatever. The only person that's the right age to reprise their Lord of the Rings character is Ian McKellen. Everyone else is too old. I mean, maybe Andy Serkis will be okay. But yeah, I don't think I'm concerned. Because yeah, even in 2014, Orlando Bloom was no longer blooming in the same way as he might have been, when he first made The Lord of the Rings. It's funny. Data has the same problem anytime they try to bring Brent Spiner back as Data. It's like, you can only play an android for so long, for so many years, until your face starts to, like, melt. But yeah, stabbing people with an arrow is funny. So, I'm concerned about not differentiating these enough so that you don't know that they're buttons. Maybe we default to move, so move is highlighted as soon as you select someone, and you can switch it to act. And then act will pick one of your items that has actions. It'll probably default to your main hand, but you could switch it to your offhand. I kind of like that. So you select your character, it defaults to move, but you can click act instead and it will switch to act. And that will pick an action. So it'll pick like your general actions are these 4 plus the abilities, but it'll probably just pick your main hand and then you can swap it. So like if I didn't want to do a sword attack, I could switch to my shield and do like a bash attack. Or I could switch to one of my abilities and do one of those. And then there's a little more feedback about what's happening. Kind of like that. So we do this by frame. So we need to make one for the sprite atlases here. Or we need to make one for move and act. We need to make some new buttons. So let's open the character sheet. I don't think I have that. I don't think I've opened that recently enough. I'm tired today. This might be a somewhat shorter day. Get rid of all this junk. So I do want to change some of this stuff. Get rid of the file. Well, I don't know if I actually want to change this. What I do want to change is the equip page. The equip page needs to change. We might work on that today. That would be a nice thing. Nice little thing to do. The equip page, I want to get rid of this thing. I want to expand the description to basically take all of this space. I might do this first. Where unfortunately, I think we're going to get rid of these coin icon things. I kind of like them, but I also kind of don't. So let's just get rid of them. We're just going to rebuild this. How does this one work? So the idea... So there is room for the large level icon. Barely. I think there's room. We're gonna see. Yeah, as much as I enjoy that Hobbit movie, man, it is like indicative of so many issues that we have. Making movies like this. This seems wrong. My concern is this part at the bottom here. It's kind of awkward. If I do it like this, maybe we can just go all the way here. I'd like to do this. I don't know if there's room. Excuse me. Room. I don't know if there's room. We're going to try it, though. Yeah, there's a gap. A rather large gap. That's fine, though. You could do this a number of ways. There's a 2-space gap here. And my options are to raise this up by 2, which is kind of awkward. Hope everyone's having a fine Wednesday here. I think we're going to try that. Put that back. This is kind of weird, but I might be okay with it. This is actually better than I thought it was going to be for some reason. I think I'm okay with this. This is kind of awkward. This looks kind of terrible. This corner, I kind of hate. Like, it just looks really bad. The way it pinches here. I don't quite know what I'm going to do about that. One option is we can... There's not a good option here. I could thicken these lines by 1. That might look a little weird, though. I could thicken this line by 2. Or I guess this, there's nothing that is requiring us to do this exactly this way, though. I guess I could just... This box could just be bigger than the other boxes. It's not like there's a rule somewhere. You can do this. This is okay. This one's just a little bigger. So what we would do here is we'd have like we'd have like value or something. This should be over by 1, like that. Oh, it's off balanced. There we go. So I'm thinking of something like that. Oh, it's the wrong layer. That's fine. And so I think I would move these like so. Say I don't know why I'm so tired, but I do know why I'm so tired. It's because I stayed up too late watching The Hobbit. God, that movie was like 90% like fan service. I don't know if I love this, but this would work. I don't like this idea of the open-ended value thing, but that's fine. I don't like cards having like set values. What we could do instead of value is we could take one of those coin icons and just have a number. I don't really like the val thing here. I don't like it. What we could do instead, we could do some of what I had before. No fill. So here's like copper, silver, gold. We could pick one and then pick a unit within that. And I think that might be okay. So like this one would probably be copper because it's like a piece of shit. And we could do like this. And so if it was better gear, instead of copper, it could be like, it could show the silver. I don't know if I love that either. What if we did something like this? Hey, Arneo. How's it going? Can this fit two numbers comfortably? Comfortably, that'd be an issue. Something like this, and then we would probably something like that. Kind of hate that too. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for the monetary value of the cards. Yeah, or equipment. I guess only equipment's going to have a value. We're going to just do this for now because I don't want to think about it. It's not really the important part of this. Safi broke your game. Oh, no. Well, C'est la vie. Alright, so the idea here is we're gonna, like, get rid of all of this. This is the idea for increasing the size of the item descriptor area. And so this has a lot more room for telling us about what an item does, what it can be used for. We could still have a thing where it says like active and then passive. Or it could say action or something like that. How big are these? 28? How big is this? Better be 28. Okay, it is. So we do like this. I think I was in a bad mood this morning. I don't know why. Well, maybe I do. Oh well. I have Friday off work, which is going to be nice. I think we'll do an extra long stream. Alright, so this is what I'm thinking. It's a lot more simple. We could do some stuff in here. We could have things cost more than one action. I think that's a good idea. But maybe not here. Maybe here this is just a button. And then here you could be like one action. Uses. We could say something like uses 2 actions. Say something like this. Like it doesn't, but we can just this doesn't cost 2 actions, but just, you know, for the sake of argument. We could say like uses 2 actions, melee attack plus 2 damage. And then I don't know what I would do for like passives. Should it be act? Should act be ATC? Since act is like an actual word. Yeah, but it's short for action. Attack is ATK. So like we have that on here. So you have your attack stat. Yeah, I know I'm confusing it because I'm thinking about using some of these as buttons, and I realize that's causing confusion. It's confusing me, at least. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. We could do things like highlight what these are by doing something like this. Like, I don't know, actually know how I would want to do this. Maybe I don't want to do anything like that. I was thinking I could like do a different border around them, but I don't think I want to do that. I think the fact that it will auto select one, it makes it okay. This is still just basically a list of keywords for tool tipping. Hey, Sapphire. I heard you broke Arneo's game. Nice. Nicely done. We could try to squeeze something in here of like passive +1 defense or something like that. Oh, I totally accidentally did this in a different font color, but I actually kind of like that. I'll probably want to come up with a better way to describe this stuff. I don't know. It's cleaner than the other. It's definitely simpler than the other version of the equip page, which I can probably show because it's probably still here. Yeah, so this is like the old version of the equip page. Maybe the active passive buttons were good. I don't know. I didn't like them. I also thought this coin list thing was overkill. Oh, time to ban somebody. Blast them. That's always fun. I don't love this. I don't feel like I've figured out the equipment page. Like this is eh. This is like also eh. But it's better. And so if there isn't an action associated with it, then it's easier. There is an economy of space and like using this stuff that's annoying. The need to have both passive and active effects is a little annoying. Something like this. I'm not going to change this yet. I'm going to keep cooking on this. But I think this is the direction we want to go. Doesn't really matter right now. We're not really ready to do anything about it, but I do want to do something with this move and act. Let's add some buttons. question is where. Let's add them down here. Got to be careful about naming this action button. I don't want to infringe on Tim's trademark here. Say like move button. We'll make another one and we'll call it like the act button. We do have to make... Oh, excuse me. We have to make a button here. Alright, no worries. Thanks for hanging out, Sapphire. Appreciate you. What did I say these things were? These were like... Probably gonna be like 30 by something. 40 by 30. Okay. Do I want it to be more? Oh, I didn't fix that thing I was gonna fix. Okay, it actually doesn't highlight that. That's actually... We can work with this. Else... Here. Else if this and not card dropped. Unselecting on a card drop, which I don't want. There we go. So we automatically go into move mode, which maybe is okay if I highlight the move thing here. And we do like stat number change things. And then you can switch it to action if you want. Or what'll happen is if you use your movement, it'll just automatically switch to action. And then manually you can be like, no, I'm an archer. I wanna act from here or something. The thing I want to avoid is I want to avoid the situation where you like click your archer, there's like an enemy over here, and so you click on them, and then what your guy does is they move, they run up to the guy and then stab the guy in the eye with an arrow. So there needs to be some kind of prioritization happening. So maybe if you like mouse over and you could attack somebody, it'll check to see if you have like a ranged option. And it will switch to that. It'll like favor range over melee if you're not next to the person. I don't know. It's a quality of life thing, but I think it matters a lot. Oh, we're heading into our first ad break. Hold on to your ads. Do I need to go to the bank today? I think I might. Just remembering the errands list I have after the stream and before I go back to work. I'm just tired. I work too much. Who doesn't? I mean, I could probably give you a list, but I won't. But it's not like we're going to be slowing down. I was talking about it with my partner, and I think my only real option is to try to, like, boost the amount of energy I have by, like, you know, eating better, exercising, you know, all the good stuff. I'm like, but I don't even have time for that, and that's the conundrum. So we'll see. Work in progress. But it's definitely going to be... It's definitely a huge lift trying to do what I'm trying to do in the time that I'm trying to do it. But when is that not true? And I don't really want to slow down. I think maybe my timeline for release, or I shouldn't say release, the timeline that I initially drafted for next year is looking like nearly impossible, but you know, we're going to at least stick to our timeline for this year for demo out by the end of the year. Demo on Steam by the end of the year. The only question is, though, is like, do you then just jump into the February Next Fest? Because if you jump into the February Next Fest, that means you're probably trying to release shortly after. And that would be a release in like March or something. That's super aggressive. And I'm still open to it. I just don't want to... I don't want to rush this out so fast that it's had neither time to cook nor time for anyone to realize it exists. So I'm wondering if it'd be better to put it in the June Next Fest. Then the demo is out for like 6 months. I don't know if that's good or bad. It seems like Next Fest, you really need a good, strong following going into Next Fest. Next Fest itself is not going to really do anything for you unless you already... have some like it seems like in the future Steam, to really engage with Steam well, you need to be showing Steam that like your game has traffic, that it has like legs, which is interesting. What am I gonna call this? I'm gonna call this like, I'll just call it move act button. That's right. Or how about this? We'll call this character button sprite atlas. I think you've heard 3 months thrown around as far as long as before Next Fest your demo should be up. Yeah, I've heard different things. What people seem to be consistent about is how quickly after Next Fest you should release. And it's tricky because there's always a big sale after Next Fest, which is when you would like to release. So the question is, like, do you release into a sale? Do you release before the sale? Do you release after the sale? There's so many things, and I went down a rabbit hole the other night about thinking about all this stuff. But yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards give it time to be out there, give it time to gain awareness. Because yeah, Steam is not going to do you any favors unless you're already driving a lot of traffic to your page. So I think I'll need time to put the demo up. I'll need time to get streamers to try it. I'll need time to put out my own videos about it. And that'll probably be a lot of what's consuming me early next year. So it makes sense to maybe not, unless the response is very quick and people like it and you know, it makes sense to go for the February Next Fest. It might also make sense to slip to the June Next Fest and just give it that full year to like totally cook with like 6 months of the demo being out. I don't know. It's either 6 months of the demo out or 2 months, and it's kind of tough because there's really no in between. There's really no in between. But yeah, Chris Z also says your Steam page should be up for 6 to 18 months before you release, right? And if I release my Steam page in like, what I want to do is release it in like September or October, when like I put the alpha up on itch, somewhere around then. Probably start to do my first push around telling people this game exists. It's tough. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying not to sweat that part. That part has too many unknowns for me to make an effective plan around what's going to happen next year. So I'm just going to focus up on my plan for this year. And the plan for this year is solid. The plan for this year is demo out by the end of the year. It means releasing a demo in like during the Christmas sale or something, but I've heard that can be good if you drop a demo right around Christmas, because people stop releasing stuff at Christmas, so you might just end up on the like new demo list if you do it right. I don't know. There's very little game news around Christmas or New Year's, so there's a chance that could work for me. It could also backfire and nobody notices it. But if that's true, then we just wait the 6 months and, you know, we cook on it. We let it just be up and we drive traffic to it slowly, and then we join a Next Fest, and then we launch at the like in the summer of next year or something. People home bored looking for free stuff to play. Yeah, I think releasing games in the winter is good. The problem is everyone else also does that. So I think that's why indies tend to go back towards like the summer or the spring or something, is the AAA people are all like, this needs to be on store shelves by Christmas. And it kind of sucks the air out of the room usually, but most indies are not actually competing with AAA anyway. I'm certainly not. I also want to give people enough time to get sick of Slay the Spire 2. I want people to like want another card game. What did I do? What did I even do? Oh yeah, I was working on my buttons. So we're gonna engage a move button and an act button. And we're gonna hook these in, and this is what we're gonna do. This will be toggleable, I think. Toggle. Do I always need an Atlas texture all the time? I guess I do. I'm just terrified of slowing things down too much. Character, button, character, button, focused. But there's some middle path that's the correct path for us. Plus, there's gonna be so much time taken away from our dev time next year, because I'm gonna need to start showing the game, and that will involve like going places and like doing things, and like, yeah, there's gonna be things as soon as we're out in the open with this, there's going to be a lot of things pulling on my time beyond just dev. So I feel like I could be in danger of overly compressing the second half of the development. I know, going places and doing things are like the two worst things one could do or go. I don't want to do either. You should be part of a button group. And in fact, they need to be part of a button group that coordinates with the equip item button group. Potentially. Potentially. Seems like it's gonna be a quiet day here. That's okay with me. Feeling a low energy kind of day. Okay, we've got our buttons. I should probably put them in the right place. That looks okay. Compressed. Oop. I have to keep in mind that I'm like, I also have a day job. And there is the specter of return to office next year. And like, I don't know how much time I'm going to have. There's only so much I can do. Okay, these both need to be... And also the quality bar is so high. Oh, we're getting a raid. The fifth horseman, exactly, LSG. Otterly raid. Hey, Temptic. How's it going? Raid alert. Welcome. Good, and me? I'm okay. I'm okay. Hey, Stuff? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to Party Wipe, a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. We're working on something new. We've been working on it for the last month. It's like a card game. Card game / little tactics game. Card game tactics. So you have like character cards and equipment cards and ability cards. And you play, so there's like a card management and character management layer, and there's also like a turn-based battle map layer. We're working on communicating actions and movement right now. That's what we're working on. But you could play a sword on this guy. Now they can use a sword to attack. Whoa. That's different. Ah, I see. I see what has happened here. We could play another sword on him, level up the sword. Then we could discard the sword. And now you've got a level 2 sword in your discard. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. Whole new project. Yeah, I got bullied into trying to make a shorter project. Make a project that I can do in a year instead of, you know, the last stuff I was working on, which was like, you know, an infinitely long dream game project. I got bullied into trying to jam something out. So we're trying to take this approach like it's a game jam, almost. Just like a long game jam. So we've been pretty ruthless about it, which is why we've had some quick progress so far. Trying to carry it forward. What have you been up to? I have done sad things like swear off game jams for the rest of the year. Ooh. I set all of these as pass up, and I realized that, oh, pass up won't matter. I can't actually do any of these. I have to disable this branch of the code because I realize it's not going to work. Raid and run. All right, see ya, Temptic. Catch you next time. Thanks for the raid. Still excited to check out some of your Twitch stuff. Your some of the Twitch tools that you've made. I think that'd be fun. All right. Okay, so there's an unintended... This is why I don't like just doing things in process. I would much rather have liked to use signals and everything properly, but our card plugin has only so many things it will let me do. But we're doing some stuff like this, and this is actually not the way. So I can't actually do this. So I'm just gonna not. I'm just gonna not do it. Maybe I'll leave it and I'll comment it out. No, I hate doing that. Just get rid of it for now. So that's unfortunate. It's going to be harder to unselect characters, but that's fine. That's fine. You can still unselect a character by like dragging a card or clicking on them. I was going to have it be you click out of the battle area and it unselects, but I realized that like interacts with like literally everything. So here's our act and move buttons. So when I do select a character, I want to default to engage move. And then we got this. And then you can swap to act. So we need to put these in a button group so you can only have one of them at a time. And then that should interact with like items. So if we've selected this, that should engage the action. If we unselect that, that should also unselect this. Or maybe go back to movement or something. So we want to make some of these related here. We don't always want to do it, though. It would only be for items that actually have an active or have an action associated with them. We might switch to my new item card, equipment card thing. I guess I'll export it. Oh. I need to do it by level. Oh, no, I need to do all of these by level. Okay, that's fine. How are we going to do this? That's not so bad. Just having an all right Wednesday here. We're halfway through the week. We're on our way. Friday's a holiday for me. I'm really looking forward to that. We will stream. Might even do a like a longer stream since I don't really have anything to do Friday. Try to make up for missing last Friday maybe. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. I'll be excited to have a schedule. Not a streaming schedule, but like a what we're trying to get done. That all looks fine. So new equipment page format. So these all need to change. So we're going to get rid of the active button. Get rid of passive button. Get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of all of this. Move these down. Effect label. We're going to call this equip description. Move this up and lengthen it. This is where I would describe this equipment if I had written a description. And we need a button here as well. We need an action button. Call it the act button. Keep it in line. That should help. Now we just need 2 more of these. Call it the value label in the value stat. Value. Where are you? There you are. does this look different? Why do these not look like they're aligned? Oh, they are. Just an illusion. Oh, I guess there needs to be a label here too. I don't know whether I want to have a number here. I don't think I do. Like a cost number. I think that would be too confusing. Whoop. And if an item can't act, we'll have like a disabled version. Maybe I should just make a proper button. Should I? Would it be better? Would it be better for there to be a proper button? Then I could do the disabled thing. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do that. I'll burn that bridge when I get there. You were probably really confused because I probably broke a lot of your stuff. Yeah, these are all disabled. I don't know about this button, maybe. Value stat probably as well. Oh no, I call these values. Change the name. Can't say val value. That'd be too much. That's fine. I don't actually record the value in the items yet anyway, so we're just gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend like none of that's there. We're gonna pretend like that doesn't matter. I can change this stuff though. Active buttons, passive buttons. Yeah, we're not gonna do any of this stuff. I don't want to do that. Default effect description. I want to have that as well. Oh yeah, I guess I need to do I need to have that? I don't think I do. Yeah, why does this run every time? Very confusing. Let me check to see why. Can I understand why? Well, it is a tool script. Export variable bool set value if value. Godot's data clear. Yeah, it loads all this card data. Anytime I move over to the scene tab, even though by default this is off. Very strange. Maybe it's off because it ran. Maybe it's default value. Oh, it doesn't have a default value. Oh, maybe that's the problem. Can I say equals false? Maybe that'll prevent that from happening. Seems to. It's good. Okay, we were gonna make a button group. Hey, K-Cog. How's it going? Sorry, I didn't see you there. Allow unpress. Yes. How's it going? Where do I put my button groups? Probably just anywhere. Just random places, maybe in here. Equip button group. Let's call this a character button group. Am I? I'm all right. I'm tired. Probably only gonna go for another hour or so here. But we're working. We're working hard. We got most of our character stuff going all right. I'm trying to get into the battle map interaction stuff. So we have like pathfinding. I need to hook it up to some movement so I can actually move this little guy around. But we're trying to like communicate what states the player goes into when you select stuff. So we've set up some buttons here. Move and act button. So it's a little more intuitive about what's happening. I think the move needs to move to the right by 1. That's a really minor. But I think it's correct. I think you need to be over here. That's the button, not the button. I need to move this, the label. So now we have this move or act mode. That looks better. It's going to default to move, I think, and you'll see this. And then you can swap it to act, and if we've swapped to act, this movement thing shouldn't happen anymore. Let's record some of those states so we can track those. So we'll track whether we is acting or is moving. And they can't both be true. So that means we need to actually track our button presses. So we need to do some signaling. On move button toggled. Yeah, that's good. Let's do it in alphabetical order. Let's see. Act button toggled. And on move button toggled. Say is moving equals toggled on, or that's the wrong one, is acting toggled on, is moving equals toggled on. All right, now I think we need to tell something about this. I think we need to reroute some stuff. Problem with having a bunch of systems that are basically like peers of each other is you don't really want them to just be querying each other all the time. But if one of them changes and others should take notice, you like probably do like a signal emit or something. We just got to route things through so that that all occurs okay. So like here, what we need to do, if is cursor in route, oh, excuse me. Yawn. All right. This needs to be if tile figs. No, this needs if fig selected and fig selected dot character sheet dot is moving. We just say and not. Or no, not. What am I talking about? And fig selected dot character sheet is moving. So let's only update the path if we have a character that's in moving mode. Are we resetting the ID path at least? I don't know. Let's see if that's sufficient. I don't think that's sufficient by itself. Well, we're not doing that. And now if I'm moving, now we're doing that. Okay, maybe it is sufficient. That's better. I still kind of want it to probably engage automatically when you select somebody. Kind of want the movement to come up. Assuming they have movement, I guess. If they don't have movement, this shouldn't. Like, movement is 0, they probably shouldn't move. Or they shouldn't, you know, go into this mode. We'll need to set that up anyway. If we switch to act mode, that stops. And I guess what we want to do is we want to toggle this on if we equip an item or if we select an item. Let's do that. How are we going to do that? I guess the easiest way to do that is to do it from here and connect these signals. equip button toggled. Toggled on. Oh, do we already do this? Ready. Toggled.connect untoggled. Untoggled. Ability button toggled. Emit. Toggle on equip slot ability. Ooh. This is old. That's okay. I'm not going to have this ability index thing. I'm still not sure how I want to handle abilities, because abilities are problematic. Something I have to think about. We can do this, though. And we can even check to see if... oh, well, this just has the slot. I want more information than that. Maybe we... Can we send the resource? No. Maybe? Probably not. I guess there is a list of slots that like are actions generally, like a potion, a main hand or an offhand, and a food item. Those all have actions associated with them. I kind of wanted the flexibility to be able to have actions associated with other things. Like, it'd be cool if you could have the, I don't know, the boots of disarmament or something, and like if you used your action, you could like disarm a trap before walking over it or something. I don't know. I wanted that flexibility, so we'll need to engineer in that flexibility eventually, but we don't technically need it now. I'll think about that in a minute. Well, we'll do it now. Yeah, we really need to know the equipment, huh? We could manage that, couldn't we? We would just need to tell the thing what the resource is. It would be better to tell it. On equip button toggled. If equipment.has slot, equipment equip slot not visible. Oh, we could do it here. We could do it here, couldn't we? We don't really use this part. On equipment button toggled. If equipment has equip slot visible if toggled on. Selected equipment equals equipment. We can say, if it's toggled on, we can also say move button. Here. We can say act button dot button pressed true. If equipment dot has equip slot, yes. Okay. Equipment equip slot dot visible equals toggled on. If toggled on. Oh, we're going to need to also change the equipment. So the equipment needs to know. Okay, I think it does know. Do you know about your act button? Yes, you do. Okay. So we're going to say selected equipment. Say selected equip dot act button. Act button. What is this active button? What the hell is this? Oh, that is a thing you know about, huh? Or it's a thing you think you know about. Delete these. Act button dot button pressed equals false. This submits a signal. Yeah, it does. That's what we want. Okay, let's see if this works. So this should whoop. Equipment has. Yeah. Alright, so we got our knight. We're gonna give him a sword. That is added your act button. It didn't add our act button though. Equipment dot has selected act button dot button pressed equals true. Yeah, why didn't that do anything? If toggled on. Oh, that would only work. If I do this and I play it, and then I toggle this on, okay, that engages that. So if we're in this mode, and I toggle this. Disabling it should probably also disable it. Our end turn button is going to need to be smart. It's going to need to do the thing that like Civ and like Into the Breach do, where it's going to be like you click the end turn button and it just takes you to your character and is like, your character still has an action. Do you want to take that action? Need something like that. Maybe we'll have like a next. No. Okay, so engaging that engages it. Disengaging it doesn't unengage it. That's a little unintuitive. But maybe that's correct. Oh wait, engaging this should trigger this as well. Effect label. What did I rename it to? Equip description, I think is what I called it. There's too many things in here. I like can't keep track of them all. What the heck is it? Where do you think this is? Line 29. Selected equip. Oh, that's the equip page, not the character sheet. Equip. I'll put this here. All right, so when I spawn a unit, I wanna engage their movement. Engage their movement. Actually, I'm not doing this right. This is why I want to work on this in the correct order, which is like as things unfurl, like as like you know, you get your starting characters or whatever, you get your equipment, then you go into your first combat. And you go into subsequent combats or whatever. Because, like, what I'm setting up here actually doesn't make sense. Except for testing purposes. Which is like when I play a character. So, a character is going to be played as part of a turn. Although maybe... No. Maybe this is right. I think if you play on the first turn or before combat has, like, started. So, I think what it's going to be is there's going to be... The combat encounter starts. You draw your hand. The game, if you have characters that are still alive from the last combat, they'll be in your roster, and the game will be like, please deploy your characters from your roster. And you'll do that. And then you'll play characters that you might have in your hand as well. But that's not actually going to engage their move. Because there's still a combat turn order, which will probably only be shown after this initial deployment. So actually, playing a character, we don't actually want any of this to engage. We don't want you to automatically be in move mode. We don't want you to be in act mode. We just want you to plop down the character and then play whatever other cards you might want to play, like an item. So like this actually we don't want. We actually don't want this to necessarily turn on. Unless you do this. Oh, that worked though. Sort of. It worked one way. Oh no, I guess I decided I didn't want the action thing to go away just because you unselected. What if I have this? Move. We should disable this. Act. I think I like the buttons. I think I like the style of doing these with buttons. I don't necessarily like how confusing it is in terms of the others aren't buttons. But maybe they could be. Maybe they could be. Like maybe opening, maybe that's how we do some tool tipping or something. Because this will tell you what your current HP is, but maybe you need to mouse over or click on it to see like what your full HP is, and we'll do something with that. But yeah, I kind of want to work on the flow of the game. I just need to prove out some of these little sandboxy elements. But then after that, I really want to work on this in order, in like a correct order. So maybe I'll think about that when I'm writing my schedule tonight. Maybe we'll change. Maybe we'll change direction in terms of priorities in response to that. Because knowing how the game flows is really a heavily determining factor into how you do things. I don't think that's a crazy idea. Let's get this guy moving around, I guess. Let's get this guy moving around. That way I can at least say I did that, which is what I wanted to do yesterday. So I want to be able to play this character. I want to be able to go into move mode, which now we're in move mode. I wonder if clicking out should get you out of move mode. I don't know. And then now I want to be able to actually move. Well, what I want to do is I want to do a couple of things. I want this thing to stop drawing when you've run out of move points. So I should give this character more default moves. I don't know what the right default movement number is. And I don't know if that's something that's really going to go up or down with levels. Like, I don't really see characters getting more movements as they level. Maybe they get a second action at some point. Like when they reach level 3 or 4 or something. Or maybe level 6 they get another action, or I don't know. Something like that makes some sense to me. But I also could see you getting more actions more from abilities and items. Like you could drink a potion and it's like, oh, give you another action. Or an ability, like you could see like a second wind for the night. And that gives them a second action or something. See that. I can see that being the case. So what I should maybe do, and here's a neat thing, so we can show this off at least. Which is that we can just go into this spreadsheet and we can change everyone's stats all at once very easily. Why? Why do you think I would want this to be a PDF? Why would I want that, Google? Why would that be the thing that I want? What are you talking about? Let's just give everyone 3 moves. Well, maybe we change things a little bit. Maybe we give people different moves. So maybe the knight is like heavier, so they can't move as much. But they are melee. I don't know. I could see the ranger having more movement. Maybe the ranger has extra moves or something. And then the wizard and maybe the bard and the ranger have more movement, and the wizard and the knight have like less movement. Doesn't really matter. Do that to start. So we can do this. And now we've changed everyone's movement. And now I can just download this tab as a CSV. Oh, I need to delete the old ones first. The only annoying thing is I can't just download it directly to the file that I want to, but then we can go into my project, go into the data folder, delete the hero card CSV, put in our new data hero card CSV, go back in here, go to the card res manager, and then load the card res files. And then bam! All of our cards have been reloaded. And now if I look at the knight card, now he has 2 movement instead of 1. And then if I load, I play the knight, now it says 2 move. And I'll probably give him more for testing purposes just now, but I want to do this because I want to work on previewing and constraining this movement UI thing based on how much movement they actually have. A knight should probably have 4 movement so that they can do a knight's move. But maybe that's an ability. It's called Knight's Move. And it's like you get 4 movement, but you can only use it to make a knight's move. Would that be neat? And that would give him more movement than he might otherwise have. Be a neat ability. I'd have to be able to constrain the path system. Oh, I would just hard code the ID path, wouldn't I? Yeah, it could be fun. It could be stupid, but it could be fun. How much movement would that be? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I guess that wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, it might be a neat way to like give them extra movement. I don't know. That might be hard to arrange, but stuff like that would be fun. Give the priest infinite movement as long as it's diagonal. That would be pretty funny. Slick looking arrows. Thanks, Arneo. Yeah, I did 3 different designs for them. This was the one that kind of stuck. That's like all I did last night. It's kind of a not the best use of my time, but yeah, I like these because you'll note the dashes overlap the squares, so it's like an implicit counter. It's like a ruler. It's a small board, but it helps with counting. But thanks, Arneo. Yeah, I had an orange shadow like in the UI here, and I absolutely hated it. The only thing I'm thinking about is whether to hide the background. No, I'm not gonna do that. All right, so let's look at tying movement. Also, we're in ads, so sorry about that. Much apologies. All right, so how are we going to limit movement? How are we going to do this? Oh yeah, shoot. We're doing this thing where we are... Oh, we can actually manage this. This will be okay. As long as if on the move tile or the move fig... Where's the move fig function? Move tile fig. We need to know from. Oh, wait, maybe we don't need to know from. Although maybe it's helpful to know from. The fig knows where it's being moved from, I guess. So maybe we don't need to know from. But I am actually fixing that here. Path grid, solid point, set point solid. Oh, that actually isn't the problem we're trying to solve. The problem we're trying to solve. Fig selected and fig. If is cursor. If we unselect or stop moving, we need to remark the point as solid. Unless I'm just gonna rebuild the tile map all the time. Or rebuild the point solidity. Right now we're having to mark. There's this awkwardness of a character takes up a space. But the problem is if the tile that the character's on is marked solid, the Pathfinder breaks. What we could do is we could start the path. We could start the path from the next tile. Problem is that would break. That would break. some other things. Yeah, we need to figure out which way we want to work around that. All right, but what I really want to do right now is constrain the pathfinding to just the character's movement range. So that probably means telling you a little bit more about who is moving. Say variable, we'll say character fig. Character fig. Say if character fig. If character fig and character fig dot character sheet dot move value greater than 0. This is a really scuffed way to do this. I'm not sure I want to do this from here. In fact, I'm certain I don't want to do this from here. Well, I kind of want to keep the thing I just did, but this I don't want to do. I don't actually want the pathline layer thing to know about all this stuff. What I want it to know, I want something else to be making these determinations as far as what to send and how far we can go and what we're thinking about here. We can say if fig selected and fig selected.character sheet.is moving. What we can do is we can say, we can have like a function here. We can have like a call it like plot. Say something like get character movement path or something. I don't know. I'm gonna say plot. Say character, figure, plot, move. We can hide this in here. I need the character sheet. Hey, Brainoid, how's it going? Got us here doing a pretty quiet, chill stream. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set point path solid to false, and then at the end of this, we are going to set it back to true. Kind of annoying we have to do that. Doing good. How's Roguelike Deckbuilding going? It's going okay. It's going okay. We're working on some stuff. Too many. Character sheet. Working on some stuff for moving the character around. We can plot a path, but now I'm trying to constrain it to like how much movement they actually have and update their UI and stuff. Still early days. I've been working on this for about a month, but the card stuff is working out okay. You have characters, they have equipment. You can give them equipment. You can level up their equipment. Maybe this doesn't need to. Maybe this shouldn't automatically engage action. New equip. Maybe triggering this automatically is not a good idea. I kind of like this though. Like you play an item on a character. If it's their turn, I guess it should engage act. Highlight this and then engage this so that you're like, you know, you're going to act with this. It's going to cost you this action. What happens if I turn this off? So if I turn this off, all of this should close too. Released your Roguelike Deckbuilder for mobile after Steam. Ooh. You want to move on now? I feel that. I hope it does well. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this all one button. I'm desperately trying to keep this game one button controls. So that if people do like it, it's like super easy to put on like iPad and stuff. There's some cash flow. Good. That's good. But yeah, let's just try to constrain our movement. Ooh, that remembered this button was pressed. That's not good. We need to undo a lot of this stuff. There's so much stuff to hook up. These UI heavy games. It's all signals into signals. All right, so what we're thinking about character fig plot move, which is like a terrible function name, but maybe I'll call it path. Maybe we'll say find path. Character fig, find path. That's really what's happening. So what we want to do... So I don't actually want to plug this in directly. What I want to do is I want to say variable found path is path grid layer dot an array vector 2i path grid layer. We can do this. We can just copy this over. So I want to try to get a path to our destination. But then what I need to do is I need to kind of truncate this path. Found path dot trim. No. What are some array functions I could use for this? Reduce. Slice. That's what I want. It's a slice. From begin inclusive to end exclusive. Every step elements. Okay. So here we can say found path dot slice. What happens if this is not big enough? Here, what we could do is we could say if found path dot is empty, you don't need to do anything. Actually, we would say not. Actually, what we would do is we could say if found path dot size is less than character sheet dot move value. Well, that's their max move value. That's not like how much movement they've actually used, which is a distinction I need to make. I need to make a distinction about that. We can just say path layer dot id path equals found path. Less than or equal to. Yeah. We don't need to trim it. Otherwise, we do need to trim it. So we'd say path line layer dot id path equals found path dot slice. Begin is 0, end is character sheet dot move value. So this isn't considering movement once it's expended, but I realize I need a kind of transaction system of some kind to record moves and actions because we want it to be... We don't even really need to record inputs. We just need to record those transactions so that we can undo and redo them, so we can have a stack of them. I think I need to do that sooner than later, because that's going to have a lot of impact on how I structure these systems. So if I make my knight, the knight has 2 move, so if I click move, so is moving. So it's not letting me move more than 1. For some reason. 0, 1. Oh, because size is 2. Found path dot size is less than move value. Hey, Kemoth. Thanks for the stretch. Appreciate you. I don't know how much longer we're going to go today. My energy levels are very low. Can I move by 2 yet? No. I want to move by at least 2. But it is limiting, it is constraining my movement. Not super helpful when it's this short, though. So 0. I just need to... I'm off by 1. So found path.size, because found path starts at the tile that we are occupying. So for a... If I'm trying to get 3 spaces away, the size of that or path would be 4. And if my movement is 3, and that's getting truncated. 0, 1. No, this should be right, shouldn't it? So if I have 2 movement, and the first part of the path is where I currently am, then index 1 is my first step, and index 2 is my second step. Oh, this is exclusive. Duh. +1. I was like, there needs to be a +1 somewhere, and I don't remember where it is. Does it need to be here? So if this is size 4, that constitutes 3 moves. So if my movement is 3, I want the whole path, which is size 4. So I do want less than or equals, and I also want the +1 here. So now we play our knight. Engage movement. Okay. Well, now it's at least giving me the best I can do. Insert meme. Best I can do meme. Well, the knight clearly needs 3 moves because the knight needs to be able to make a knight's move. So let's do the thing we demonstrated earlier. Let's change all our card data very easily. So maybe wizard moves too, because they're like a backline. The wizard is like a backline artillery piece. Maybe wizard doesn't have much movement. I like knight being able to move 3, even though they're in metal armor. Ranger could probably move 4 then. Ranger probably should get more movement. I don't know about bard. Might leave bard at 3 for now. And so we can just set all of this up, and we can just download this again, and it's easy to change. I wish this part was easier. I need to figure out if I can get Google to be more cooperative in terms of downloading and naming files. Oh, I need to delete this one first. Because the only part that's annoying is actually like downloading and reapplying the file. So I have to go into data, delete this. Probably a better way to do that. Go in here. See, did that automatically do this just now? I guess there's an easy way to check, which is to load up my knight card. Yeah, it's 3. Why is it that when I move to this tab, it automatically runs the load card res files, even though its default value is false? There's clearly something I've done here that's weird. Or the way Godot treats this is also weird, because I have load card res files, bool equals false, set value, if value. So this should only happen if true. Clear the card res data and load it all in, and then set it to false. So, kind of weird. Kind of weird. I don't understand. Google Clasp might be good. It lets you make shell scripts that interact with Google Apps Script, so you could create this CSV and then overwrite the file without downloading from the browser. Oh. Okay, that might be nice. Yeah, Even if I could like re-download it anytime it like is saved or something, that would be excellent. And if I could do that manually, I'm gonna write that down. Google Clasp. I do app script. I do a lot of app scripting in my day job. We are all in. We are up to the hilt in Google Workspace in my job. We love Google Workspace. Sorry if that was crude. Google Clasp plus app script for easy .csv downloads. Good idea. Let me look into that. Might be tool creep. That does not sound like a ton of tool creep. And honestly, this game is like mostly cards. So anything to make updating the cards easy will be well received. Because there's already going to be... There's going to be 90 hero cards. Even more enemies. That makes me think of some advanced stuff that could be fun with like the Necromancer, where like maybe the Necromancer ability cards are actually just other units that it can summon. So it could level up its summons or something. That could be neat. That's a good idea. I should write that down too. All right. So we did that update. You did a ton of app script stuff in your previous profession. Lots of data administration. Yeah. Yeah. Because Google Workspace is like the glue between so many different things that don't interact directly. It's just so easy to just glue it together with some app script. All right, so now if I go into movement mode, now I have 3 movement. What I would like is I would also like a preview thing. So I would like for it to count this down. It's gonna be fun implementing things like opportunity attacks and stuff. I think all the zoning and stuff for this is gonna be neat. All right, well, it's doing it. It's showing us as far as we can go. The only question is, do we want to overwrite things like the cursor to like lock it here? I don't think so. What I would like to do is a preview, and then I think I'll call it there. So how do we want to do a preview? This is where we start interacting a little too closely for my liking between some of these concerns that should really be separate. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say character fig find path. So we'll do all of this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say character sheet dot preview So we have preview equip card, preview XP gain. So I want to say preview move. Well, do I want to preview move or I want to say preview like move cost or something? I don't actually want to show the character moving. Oh, I guess then that's just my preview move. Preview move. I guess I should say something like found path equals found path dot slice. So we could actually move this down here. Oops. Let's move this whole thing down. Less than or equal, so we can say greater than, and then just do this. Preview move. How about we call it preview move cost? And we could say found path dot size minus 1. Character sheet. We'll have a preview move cost function somewhere. Like here. Say func preview move cost. Move cost. It's an int. We'll say move stat equals so we'll do this, percentage B minus, we'll say move value minus move cost. And parentheses. XP stat. Oh, I gotta say dot text. This might just work. Oh, we also want to change the color. I'm gonna say move stat dot modulate equals stat decrease color. And if we unselect, we need to update display. But I'm not gonna worry about the update display. This is going to be kind of wrong, but it might approach correct. Whoa. Okay, it's having the opposite effect that I would like. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what we need to do. Forget it. All right, this should work now. So engage. So 3, you have moved 3 moves. 2 minus, 1 minus, 0 minus. I think that's all right. I think it's basically what I want. And then I'll just need to have some kind of way of committing that. I wonder if I should let you do the move if your cursor's not exactly on the tile. Probably should make you confirm. I could either click. I wonder if people would want to do a click drag. Some people might want to click drag because the cards work by click drag, so people might be used to that. Other people will probably want to do like more of a UI based thing or just a straight click. So I'll probably have to support a few different inputs. But it's all right. Things are well, they're not happening, but we're telegraphing what might happen. Now what happens if I just undo this? Okay, it doesn't reset. So resetting, that needs to get reset. Move button toggled. We want to say it's probably say no matter what. I'd want to update the display for that. Oh, maybe I can just add it to this though. Move stat not much. Let's do this for now. If we start a move and then somehow we like end up back over here. Yeah, I need a way to handle that better. In fact, this way is not the correct way to do it. To just reset it like there. I mean, we also need to reset it there, but that's, I don't think, the right way. I'm gonna think about that more. LSG, yeah, you basically had an entire software suite built out of Google Sheets and AppScript. It's too much. You inherited the system and wasn't about to redo it from scratch. Oh, that's exactly my life. It's exactly my life. I have like a 10,000 line report generating thing, and it's so horrible and it's so hard to maintain. I built it, so it's my fault. But it's accreted so much functionality, and I've never been given the time to fix it. You cooked so hard today, you had to go to sleep after stream? Hell yeah, Thornity. We're trying. We're trying. I'm a little low energy today, so we didn't, but we're pretty happy with a lot of the card interaction stuff of like playing cards and like leveling up equipment and like leveling up your characters and stuff. Pretty happy with it where the character equipment stuff is. So like I could play this sword and I could level up the sword and then I could discard the sword. And so like we're thinning our deck, we're doing all the card stuff. But now I need to hook it up to an actual battle map thing. So like we were working on movement today of like get your guy moving. Because it's almost, I have the covert action problem of there's like two different games. There's like a card thing and then like a battle map, a turn-based battle map thing. I gotta connect them all together. But yeah, work continues. You're catching us at the end here. I think I'm about to call it for the afternoon. 6.5 hour stream with low energy. Yeah, for sure. Looking good. Don't connect and remove. I mean, that's an option. That's an option. I think these two games will, I think the two aspects of the game help help. I think they strengthen each other. Like, I think the cards provide you with the tactical constraints for what you can do on the map, and then what you need to do on the map provides you a basis on which to care about or think about your cards. So I think there is a synergy there, but there's a point. You'd never want to fall into the covert action, the Sid Meier's covert action situation, where you just have like 2 mini games that are just worse than one game. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The proof is in the pudding, as it were. Appreciate it, Keemuth. Let's see. We will see. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. Low energy day. I will keep working this evening, but I got to get back to my day job. Got to run some errands first. So I'm going to cut a little shorter than my usual 3 hours. We might do a long stream on Friday. I have Friday off. When is the ship date? We'll see. I'm committed to a demo out on Steam by the end of the year. That's what I'm willing to commit to. Thinking December demo drop. And then after that, I've wargamed out a few different possibilities. When can you play? Hopefully, I think I'm gonna have the alpha up on itch in like September, like mid-September. Maybe there will be a super secret early playtest in late August, in like August sometime. So sometime between August and September, we'll get it out there for everyone to publicly play, and then we'll get it up on Steam by the end of the year. I thought I picked a small game. I think I ended up picking a medium-sized game, but we're treating it like a small game. I'm actually kind of tired of working on it in this sandbox environment. I kind of want to just start working on the golden path. Working on I kind of want to just start working from what the player sees when they first open the game, and then just go from there. Of like, oh, you'll pick your cards, and then you'll start your first combat, and then blah, blah, blah. Kind of sick of working on this kind of open sandbox thing. I think it's kind of fucking with me. We can cut it down. Yeah, we might cut it down. We might cut it down. We will see. We will see. There's a sweet spot in there somewhere. We'll find it. But yeah, I think the first playtests will be probably in about 6 weeks. Like late August. And then I think I'll try to get it up and more widely available within the month after that. So yeah, let's ship it. Ship something. You can always add more salt if there isn't, but we can't remove the salt once we add it. That's a good point. That's a good point. I thought the cooking analogy was going to fail us at some point, but clearly not. Clearly we are not failed by the cooking analogy. Thanks for the stream. The movement stuff is looking nice so far. Yeah, I think I need to sit with a notebook, which I've avoided doing. I've kind of just been I'm not going to say vibing because that means something different nowadays. But I've kind of just been jamming out all the functionality. But I realized that with the movement and action transaction system, I actually need to think about software architecture for a minute. As much as I don't want to, I think I do need to spend a minute thinking about the software architecture of how the transaction system will work, so that we can easily do undo redo. Because that's my preferred way of letting people experiment and see how the thing works, is just have a lot of have a no risk action where someone can be like, oh, what would it look like if I moved here? Oh, I don't like that. What would it look like if I attacked this? Oh, I don't like that. And they can just undo back to the beginning of their turn. That's what I want, because that solves a lot of readability problems when you just let a player, when you just provide a player with a low risk ways of exploring the interactions. It's way easier to do that than to force them to like thought hammer out exactly what they're gonna do. Nice, thanks for doing that. Appreciate you, Keemuth. Thank you for the positivity. Thank you for the positive waves. That does help. I feel uplifted. I was in a bad mood this morning, and I also very tired, and I do feel better. So appreciate everyone for the stream. Sorry I can't stay longer today, but we will be back tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday is a holiday, an observed holiday. So I think we're going to have a mega Friday holiday stream, and it should be good. I'm going to make up for the fact that I missed last Friday. But again, appreciate everyone for hanging out with me here today. I hope you have a great rest of your stream. Great rest of your day. And I'll see you all next stream. Bye.